So welcome to Caber76 Nerd and Gamer Show. Yeah, change the name back. I told you I was OCD. Just to go back to last week, I think Imberia might have been right. I do want to kind of branch out the topics a little bit more. I can't just do alt for the rest of my career at doing this. I have to break out, and I do like other stuff. I really do like action figures, which I can show you right now. I mean, I've got Cobra Commander here right now, so I do like action figures. So somewhere down the line, we're going to branch out into that aspect too. I want to do some talk with comic book movies, comic book shows, Disney stuff, things like that I like. So I really want to branch out to the collecting and the nerd culture type of thing, and not just gamers, but games are my number one thing. So anyway, I wanted to address that. So I'm just going to go with the nerd and gamer theme. That's my logo. That's me. That's what I do. So I also tried out, thanks to Porky's Gaming, I figured out how to zoom in my camera, which is something I should have did being an IT professional. So we went ahead and zoomed that in a little bit more, so you're not getting all of the background. You're still kind of getting some. So we'll see how that is. So I hate to ask it, but if you're watching, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe, because it really does help. And I did a lot of research on it, so the more likes, the more subscribers, the better it's going to do. So if you're watching, go for it. I have a rule. If you follow me and you've got a channel or a Twitch or a Twitter, I will follow you back. That's just how I am. So if you do it, you're going to get one back. So let's see what I did this week. So yeah, I lost some sleep over the weekend because I started stressing out about having multiple accounts. You see, I wanted to have a second account in the World of Warcraft because I'm out of character slots, and I need more slots. So I started stressing about it, and it doesn't work that way like as it would for a normal person who just would go out and get another account. No. I play multiple games, so having one account in World of Warcraft would mean equaling out to having one extra in Star Wars, one extra in Elder Scrolls, one extra in Red Dead Online, etc. And I've already got a bunch of accounts in SWTOR that are Swtor that I don't really need, but I've had them. I've already got extras, and I try to stay away from them. But I lost sleep. I kept waking up in the middle of the night. I think it was Monday, because this happened Sunday, and I was just like, damn, I need another account. I got to make multiple accounts and everything. And I went nuts. I went to the PlayStation. I changed things around. I needed a separate profile. It was just ridiculous. And I said, you know what? It's okay to want more characters, but you don't have to take an action to change that. So I just left everything as was. Well, I gave Ziani my other profile, but I left everything else as was. So, on the not so crazy note, I did play a lot of Swtor this weekend. I've been working on season 2. I wanted to kind of catch up to, after I was on Utini Cast, I kind of got in the urge to play. And I've been working on it a lot, and I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm pretty excited. They're coming out with the weapon appearance slot in the customization appearance thing, and that'll be coming out very soon. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm just enjoying it. I wish Ziani would play, but I can't get her to play. She has a character, but she just doesn't seem to like it as much as she likes WoW. So that goes back on to WoW. I also played a lot of WoW with Ziani, and we were working on Xeris Mortis, as we always do. And we were talking about getting the secondary legendary piece. So she bought a secondary legendary piece that you have to go to what's-his-face over in Torghast. I forget that. It's not the jailer. Gee, I just blanked out. The Arbiter, not the Arbiter. I can't remember his name. You got to go to the guy that's in there, and you got to have him make the legendary piece. Well, thinking about it, and we were advised to buy 235 items, so we bought it. And it ended up being she crafted it and spent 40k, and she couldn't really do anything with it because she had a piece that was better from Xeris Mortis. So she was not happy, but she took a couple days off. So that was... I bought the more expensive one. I bought the better one. It wasn't more expensive. It was 10k more. So I ended up buying the 291 piece, but I didn't have enough of the cinders to make it. I'm still working on that. So that was pretty much our week in Warcraft. Let's see. I did play a little bit of Elder Scrolls. Ahmed Sunadai, he helped me get a token for a name change because I'm thinking about changing one of my characters' names. So that was kind of cool. I got to do that. I got the Jubilee cake, and then the event was gone. It was kind of lame. I also did some research on YouTube because I'm trying to figure out how to increase my followers. So if anybody's got any ideas out there and wants to send me a message, my DMs are open on Twitter. Send me messages. Let me know what you guys do, what you've done. Like I said, I'm having a hard time with it. I just, I know it takes time and you just don't think about it. And I'm having fun, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm always up to get some advice. And the other thing I wanted to talk about too was I've been thinking about starting a business. I've been thinking about that for a while. I love action figures, as I showed you. I mean, literally my desk here, I've got a bunch of Joes and Marvel and DC and all kinds of stuff over here. And I've really been thinking about selling them. I sell a little bit of them on Mercari and eBay, but I really want to get into the business and buy straight from the vendor. So I'm thinking about doing that as a little side business that I've kind of always wanted to do. So I'm looking into that a little bit. And the other thing that pertains to this show, I would like more questions. I am up for more questions. If you guys have some questions that you think would be really cool that we can discuss, please, like I said, my DMs are open, so hit me up. Let me know what ideas you have for games or the nerd culture, and we can probably work on that next. So anyway, we're going to get right into the first question that I, put out there. And this one was tough. This one, well, let me get into it and I'll explain it. Yeah, so this week's question and answers. This was a tricky one. So let's just get right into the question. Do you play the class or do you play the character? This really needed some clarification on Twitter. It really came about from a conversation that Fred McVan and myself were having about the World of Warcraft and our play styles. So it didn't really grab the attention of people. I had to kind of give context to it, meaning that I had to kind of define that I play the character. I'll give a little bit more reason to that at the end. But it's a tricky question. So I think next week I'm going to do something more interesting, get away from the characters, and we'll go from there. But anyway, I went right into the answer here, and I kind of wanted to give the first one out to Fred McVan, at Fred McVan. He's a big World of Warcraft player. Like I said, he helped me with this. Drop him a follow on Twitter if you like World of Warcraft and you're into raiding and gearing. He's really good at it, and he's always willing to help people out. So I think he's a good follow. Let's put it that way. So he says, I play the class. For sure, it's all about what class and mood I am in. The character creation and how my character look don't really mean much to me. How it plays is really more important. And that's true. He does. He likes to play that class and the way it functions, and if he's a tank, he wants to be, top gear scored tank, and he wants to know every single move. He doesn't spend as much time on character creation. I am the complete opposite. So that's pretty much where it came from. I think it differs, but it's a very in-depth question that really does kind of take some thinking and some clarification. But yeah. So the next one that comes from, and I'm going to butcher your name, Miss Raven Aralani Fan at Cassandra Corbett on Twitter. She says, of course, being a completist, I play them all, but some of them I just fall in love with, and some I play for the romance with Torian Kadera. I probably butchered his name because I just call him Torian. So, but Star Wars: The Old Republic is a whole nother beast. Because when it comes to class and it comes to character creation, Star Wars: The Old Republic, before they separated the story from the class, to get every bit of that story to really understand how it all worked out. You had to play every single class because each of them had their own story. They still do, but now you can pick any class you want and pick that story as long as it follows the Jedi or the ranged users. Like, they have to stay within those, but you can do that now. But that's a whole different beast. And they also have that whole concept of what you're describing and falling in love with a certain player because I think my character is married to Kira. My Jedi Knight, my main character, Caber, he's married to Kira. And when the story came out, Kira disappeared, and I felt very attached to Kira, and it's a game, she's an avatar, right? But then comes Lana. And then I'm like, well, Kira's gone, maybe a sleazebag. And I started dating Lana. And then Kira comes back. And then a game just lets me drop Lana. And she doesn't even say anything. She doesn't even bring it up. It just goes right back to where we started. So where we left off. So that was pretty interesting. But I definitely think you're right. It's if you're a completist, you want to complete everything. So you're going to want to play the class. And in Star Wars, again, it's got that, or it had that. Excuse me, I've been dying for some cappuccino, but thank you for your answer. I appreciate it. So the next one comes from Console at Console. He says, my characters are a class, so I guess character. Oric's always a caster, Duragi is a tank, Khan is support. Oh, and Happy Thoughts is just an just an over sexy male or female. That's true. I mean, that's something he's got a really good point, actually, because I kind of do the same thing. Caber in Swtor is a dual-wielding Jedi Knight. Caber in World of Warcraft is a dual-wielding Fury Warrior, and they're both DPS, and they play the same way. He does that. He does that a lot. He moves Auric, Duragi, and Khan, and Happy Thoughts into different games, but he plays the same class to fill that role. So, like, if one's a caster, it goes to be a caster in the next one. If one's a tank, it goes to be a tank in the next one, support, etc. And he does that. And I think that a lot of people do in the games. If you have specific names that you're attached to and you use, that makes a lot of sense, actually. So I think he's got a really good point. Thank you, Con. The next one is from Shantyman Gaming at Shantyman Gaming, who just got a new job. And congratulations, Shanty. That's awesome. I can't wait to start to catch some of your streams. I'm very excited about it. So he says, I tend to be somewhere in between based on several factors such as familiarity with the game and inspiration character, etc. Inspiration for the character, etc. So Shanty, I think you and I, we share kind of a similar style in gaming because I'm somewhere in between too. As the more I looked at this question, the more I tried to dissect the fact that I am kind of a person who plays the character. I'm kind of in between. I have stories in my head. If I like a certain class better, I will play that class. Like for healing in the World of Warcraft, I prefer Paladin or Priest. And those are the two that I will use because I like the way they heal. Inspiration for the characters is a really good point because there's a lot of characters that are stories to me that are inspired by where I got them from or where they came from, or they're based on another character. Like Swtor, I think I have some cosplay characters. So it really does make sense, and I think I play a lot like you, actually. And like I said, the more I got to kind of dissect this question, the more I realized it. So thank you to Shanty. Next one is from Electric Smurf at Sound Wizard LLC. He says, I don't typically roleplay online, so I just play the class. Most people don't actually roleplay online at all. So were they actually RPGs? I say no. Tabletop, it's all about the character for me. I don't play the character plays me. I love how Smurf always ends it with some funny thing. Tabletop is a whole nother element. I mean, in RP, I maybe you haven't seen RP in games, but I think people do. Like I've seen it in Star Wars and WoW. It's always there. Star Wars, they'll be sitting by in the Old Republic, they'll be sitting by the Jedi Temple, and there's people there that are constantly RPing, and they're doing little things where they're pretending they're Padawans and masters and all that other stuff. I've seen military guilds in Star Wars. Now I've played on a couple role-playing servers in WoW, and I physically have seen it. You go to the inn and you buy a person a drink, and they RPing you back and forth, and they're sitting at the table and they're going. So they do, but these are RP servers. So I don't know so much on the console if you would see it. I don't know if ESO does RP on the console. I mean, you have that mega server, so you probably have to find a guild that does. But I mean, yeah, if you're, I feel kind of like you though, because I have a hard time RPing in games. But if I'm gonna RP, I'm gonna do tabletop. So it's a good point though. Thanks, Smurf. So the next one comes from Emberia, who I'm gonna tell you was right for what she said last week, even though I picked on her. And I don't like saying you're right, Emberia. And I know for a fact that your husband doesn't like to say it right. So, I'm just going to ride his train and get him in trouble. So, she says, I play the class. And she kept it really short and sweet because she's probably ticked at me. But that's okay. It happens sometimes. No, she probably kept it, short because it's kind of a weird question. But she's a completionist. You tend to complete everything in the game and do as much as you can. So it kind of makes sense that you would just be the class, type that plays the class. It really does. When Emberia plays, she does everything. She has to finish everything, get every achievement. She's that, that type of play style is hers. So it does make sense. But I'm not going to jump on you this week for saying anything because you were right, and I just want to leave that where it's at. So the next one comes from Ziani, Pandaren for Life, who every time I see your name, and I know you're my girlfriend, so you can make fun of me for this, but I always see NWO for Life, and I keep seeing Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and all them, because I was a big wrestling fan in the day. So every time I see For Life, I keep thinking of NWO for Life, and I just want to do the too sweet sign, but that's okay. She writes, still being new and only having tried a few classes, I will say I play because I like being a panda that has pets. So a little of both. I tried other hunters, but I prefer Pandarans. Tried mage and druid, but still prefer hunter. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. If you're new, you kind of have to try the classes out. So you want to see what you like. You want to see what they're all about and how they play. And I know with you the way you've been playing, you really like the pandas, and you don't feel like you like any of the other classes, any other races besides panda. So yeah, I guess it is a little bit of both. And you've tried druid and you've tried mage, and you still prefer the hunter. I think it's different for everyone, I guess, is the best way to say it. It really is. But being new definitely makes things a little bit more interesting for that question. So the next one comes from a name I'm going to butcher. Let's just face the fact. Palaeus Athian on Twitter. Apologize because I know I butchered it. They said, it depends. I usually play the character as that is what keeps me hooked over long-term class changes. These I'd never delete even if I'm not currently playing them. If I'm just trying to learn a spec or variations in a story, I'll just play the class. These can be expendable. I mean, that one's kind of like me in a little bit too, because I don't sometimes like the class changes that are being put out. So when those class changes are put out, I lose interest in that class and I jump onto another character. And it keeps me still going. I have a hard time deleting, but you've heard my history. I am back and forth with alts. I love them, I hate them, I delete them, I beg for them back. So if you're trying to learn a new spec or variations in a story, then yeah, you probably would just play the class because you're trying to learn that spec. That's that's an interesting reply. That one can get me thinking a little bit because it does bring up kind of part of what I do and how I play. But I have no classes or characters that can be expendable in any shape or form. I am attached to all of them, so it wouldn't work for me in any shape or form. And I'm pretty sure this is the last one. And this is from Ahmed Sumadai, whose name I will never get right on purpose. But, Ahmed, thank you for the change token. So, I'll try to be nice to you. He says, I play the class dual wield always. Character is interchangeable, sometimes female. He does. You know, I know that from playing with him. He does play the class, and he's damn good at playing his class. He's probably, whenever we play ESO and we play with him, because that's his game, he's top-notch at that class he plays. He may have alts, but he definitely specializes in that class that is his main. So, and he changes names on that main like you wouldn't believe. He's had so many names that I can't remember them all. So, and he has changed it back from male to female to male to female. But he's good at the class, and he knows the class. So it's a different style for everybody, you know. It's different for each character and each person, and I guess it shouldn't be character. It's different for each person with the character or different with the class. I mean, it's really your own preference and your own play style, so to say. So I think that's it, and we're going to get right into my answer. So the question again is, do you play the class or do you play the character? So to me, I want to say that I definitely play the character. But as this question went on, as I said earlier, it made me really kind of think that I fit in the middle somewhere. You know, you can have 30 Templars. Well, ESO won't let you, but if you could, I would. You could have, 30 plus Jedi Guardians or 30 plus Jedi Sith Juggernauts. You can have your 30 Fury Warriors. I mean, Des Mephisto proved that, right? He had 90 or something like that at one time. So, but I mean, to some people, it is about the class. They like that class, like Ziani. She likes her hunter. To me, it's always going to be about the character first. It's always going to be that they're unique. They are different. It has to be that I created them and made them, and it's hard for me to let them go. I think a lot of that is, like, if you look at it and you think it's like writing a book, or I finished a story, actually, I finished my novel, and I had to kill a main character off. Let me tell you, that was one of the fucking hardest things I ever had to do. And I still, as going through the rewrite process, I still debate bringing it back. I just didn't like it. And that's the way it is with my characters to me. It's about the character, but yet it's still kind of about the class. Each character is their own identity. They're all some part of me in some weird way. And I know Khan will make fun of me because he'll say, "Oh, they're like your children." Well, they are. They're like my dog. They're close to me. They're very real to me. But I guess when it all is said and done, it really matters how you play the end game. Is it about being the best tank, the best healer, the top DPS? Is it about that? Or is it about, oh, I just finished this character, I want to go to the next character? I mean, it's you. It's your playstyle. It's whatever you like. It was a difficult question. It made you think. It didn't get a lot of replies. But it's still, to me, a very good question. And when it all comes down to it, it's whatever makes it you play the way you want to play. So that's going to be it. I did want to mention again really quick, I butchered a lot of this, and I'm not redoing it, so there'd be parts that the sound may kind of suck on. I noticed the slides are kind of screwy. That's my fault. I'll fix it next week. I had some issues with them this week. The other thing I wanted to say was I'm going to get back on Twitch. I cleaned my Twitch up yesterday. I'm going to start uploading videos to it, and I'm going to stream 2 or 3 times a week. So like I said before, check it out. Drop me a follow. I will always drop a follow back on any platform. I don't think I'm going to have another complicated question next week. I'm going to make it really easy for you, and I'll get that posted this weekend. So anyway, peace out, and thank you guys again for all of the replies and all the cool things that are happening. I appreciate it.